And I felt like I didn't have my mom as much as I wanted her. So that was one thing I did not like.
We hearing that your life is breaking up whenever you speak, princess. Are you well settled? But see,
I am. Can you
we
hear me?
don't want anyone to misconstrue what we are saying. We don't want anybody to finish your statement.
Right.
Because,
Can you hear me?
yes, I'm hearing you very better now. This is no judgment on your mom. Because a lot of mothers do
Not
it
at all.
also. And
Right.
they leave their country, West Indian moms, and they come to America, and all they do is to make sure that their boss's children are well taken care of. But here you are today. I want people to understand. For all the kids who are begging to come up here, and all the mothers up here who telling themselves, time for you to come out of America. We want to speak like Joan. I waited until what, Joan? I can what?
Afford to take care of them.
So what you are saying here to us now is that you believe your mom didn't spend enough time with you. That is what you're saying?
That's how I felt.
So you know your mom was unable to really do better because of her status and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I understand that.
So about your aunt Monica, she has passed away during the... Tell us about your aunt a little.
To me, she was amazing. There's a lot that she taught me. And I laughed about some stuff the other day with my cousin. I remember with education, she was another one. She's a stickler for education. And she said to me, we were doing math one day, and she explained the problem to me. And then I'm sitting there like, okay, like I understand. And she was like, okay, well, do it. And I wasn't able to do it. And she was so upset that she beat me. And then she basically told me at that point, if you don't understand something, it's okay to ask questions. And so it's like, I took away a lot. Like, she basically spoiled all her nieces and nephews, and I was one of the lucky ones to be able to live with her and to learn a lot from her.
So how you feel about her passing?
She was amazing.
When you heard of her passing, what happened to you?
I was hurt because I wasn't expecting that. It was the day after Easter Sunday, and there's never a holiday that goes by where she doesn't call, or like she'll text or call or something. And that Sunday she didn't call, and I called a couple of times and I didn't get a response. I kept calling, and I was like, you know what, let me just leave her a message and I'll call her back the next day. And Monday I did call her and I didn't get an answer. And I don't know if they realized in that moment that I didn't know what was going on, and they called me, but I was at work. And it was just hurtful because I couldn't see my aunt. I didn't get to talk to her like things that I was used to. It just hurt me.
Because I remember there were times when I used to babysit for you with the girl. But I know sometimes you used to drop the girl. You used to drop the girl over at your aunt. So I feel for you. But then suddenly about a week after, your first cousin died, her son. So you lost two close people to the coronavirus, I believe.
Yeah.
And we want to say, Princess, that we mourn with you. And you see, people doesn't find out what happened. You know, people doesn't find out what happened to people. They don't know the pain that people go through every day and fight for survival. So to get you to come on this show, I had to really get ready for you to be in this moment. It may not have been the right time to bring this up, but I believe it's the best time. I just want to get it over with because I know that you're sitting there in pain. I could still see it. You're sitting there with more pain than that because as I said before, I know your story. But many things I wouldn't be able to talk or to bring up because I knew it offhand. And I know when you try to pull wool over my eyes also. And this time, yes. And I'm here today, and I want to thank God for you, and I want to thank you for your strength, and I want to tell you that we feel your pain, and we want to tell you, blessed are they that mourn, they shall be comforted. Peace on that. So we are going to take a 1-minute break. Hello, everybody. This is Live with Mama Coco, Life and Style. This is Sunday, and if it is Sunday, it's no politics. We are speaking about life in general. We are speaking of our joys and our sorrows, and preparing everyone, our audience, who might be of childbearing age, who have teenagers around, and who young parents. I want you guys to know that this is not about bashing. This is about getting real. So this is your Mama Coco. And I'm about to just show you guys that we are going to be introducing or reintroducing, Princess Melviille, hailing all the way from Tobago, and Joan Phillips Pierre, hailing from Belle Garden, Tobago. Peace. Yes. I was just posing, Princess. I was just posing and telling myself no more crying for me. Yes. And we are going to be here right now, and we are going to introduce Joan, your daughter. What order did that daughter came in? Hey, what order that daughter falls in your beautiful children?
She's baby number 4. She's the last one.
Oh, really? Georgia, they like me, girl. You're last thing. That's why you see. That's why you see thing can't slip we by. We sharp. We are the last thing. We are the last one that make the passage for nobody else. We shut down things, girl. We shut down.
Yes, we did.
We shut down. Yes, we did. So my people, welcome Joan Phillips, educated, talented, and you're a journalist. Yeah?
Who, me?
Yes.
I call myself a content creator, producer, in that world, that sweet spot.
Yes. So we didn't get a bio from you because I don't think your mom told you that.
Oh yeah, I wasn't prepared. That's why I was just like, I had no problem hopping on. I, have to leave in a little bit, but I wanted to make sure at least I came on your show and said hello.
Hey. Georgette, you have any more lighting that you could use?
Let me see. I mean, I'm in my room, so I wouldn't echo because my mom is right in the next room, so we would be echoing if we, were
come too close. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. I just want my people to see how gorgeous Joan Phillips Pierre last child. Yes. So I think Princess out of it for a little bit. So Joan Phillips, so Georgette, let me see if there's any question for you from the engineer.
Okay.
Tell us who you are, Georgette, and tell us about your mom. And maybe I have to start you off before I see any questions there. So you are Georgette. How old are you, if you want to say? Because we girls don't give the age like that.
I know. I wonder where that came from, though. People make stuff up all the time, but I am in my 30s. I am mid-30s. Leo season's approaching. I am born a Leo. And so, it's funny when I would hear stories about how my mom would describe me, because then it actually starts to make sense and connects dots to why I'm so abrasive, or why I'm so, speak so matter-of-factly. But, I was always the child that knew exactly what she wanted. Not to say that my other siblings didn't, but I was very clear, and I would always ask for what I wanted. I always spoke up, and if I needed something, my mom knows, I would
You would ask the question.
I just, because there was no filter. Like my mom told me when I was younger, I had this truth serum. And so when I got older, like it was cute when I was younger, but they didn't stop it in time. And so when I got older, it became a problem, on how I would speak about certain things.
Oh God, Georgette, you're making me cough. When you say that, they didn't stop it in time.
Oh, they didn't stop it in time. When you're younger, you could teach kids how you want them to be and speak. And they were just like, oh, they thought it was so cute that I was being so honest. And then when I started telling them about themselves, when I got older, it became a whole different thing. I was like, well, that wasn't my fault. Like, you all allowed me to speak my truth in a different way. And so, I just knew I wanted to, as I was growing up, I wanted to do something entrepreneurial. I was so ingratiated and inspired by people that ran their own businesses or did their own things. And so, I went to school for entrepreneurship for my undergrad at an HBCU called Norfolk State in Virginia. And I fell in love with the radio station and all things media. And those were the things I got into. And then I went to grad school in Boston at Emerson College. And, that's that's how people are. Yes.
See,
Leo, yes.
You picked up the questions one time. And that question came from Jessica who?
Jones.
Jessica Jones.
Yeah, I mean, we are the most obnoxious birthday season because, we just act like every day and every season is Leo season. But
so why you think you're better than Capricorn?
I don't think I'm better. I'm a Leo, and end of sentence.
I'm a Capricorn. Say want a showdown?
Listen, the biggest showdown that no one can take from us is our president is a Leo, Barack Obama. He's the first Black president, and he's a Leo. So that's enough said.
Okay. Okay. You think you really shut me down a little bit there. But Georgette, you were listening to our previous segment.
Yes.
What were your thoughts?
Well, the piece that I came in on, I remember my mom saying, do as I say, not as I do. I don't agree with that sentiment. Not from my mom, but I feel like a lot of the older generation believes that the children should not follow what they did. I think what the issue really is when it comes to younger children, unfortunately, kids do pick up on what their parents are doing. So if it's in conflict with what you're saying, they're not going to listen to you.
I don't want to clap here because Joan might feel bad, but
no, go ahead and clap.
Yes, go ahead, Georgette.
I think about, the one person that I think about, I have a 12-year-old mentee in Florida. And so when I would go visit her, she was always excited, and she bawled her eyes out when I moved out of Florida back to New York. But the one thing I kept thinking about every time I spent time with her was she doesn't get to spend 100% of her time with me. And I saw the difference. I saw the difference of when she was with her mother, who had her at a young age, and her older sibling at a young age, and her mom is in survival mode. So survival mode for a parent looks different than like you were ready to have a child at the age that you were ready to have them. And so sometimes, which is unfortunate, some kids get caught up in the survival end of the spectrum with the parent versus like the younger children that may get a little bit more attention because the parents feel like, okay, well, you know, I didn't know what to do with the first two. I know what to do with the last two or the last one. And so I think about that, but I think actions have to speak louder than words, and kids are always going to pay attention to what you're doing in addition to what you're saying. But again, if your actions are going to conflict with what you're saying, I am not listening to you.
My goodness.
My mom's child. Look, she's laughing.
Yes.
That's what she's laughing.
My goodness.
But that's why,
So
Mama
Princess,
Coco, that's why I took it out, everything I had to do out the house.
yes, but then I understand what she's saying here now. That people living their lives, believing that kids are blind, doing all it is not about you alone, Joan. She's speaking in general.
Yeah.
But she doesn't like the term.
Yeah.
Because we always doing things, believing that our kids not watching. When kids repeat what they see, we always want to twist it around. Do as I say, not as what I do. Well,
Yeah. I mean, even in the classroom, it's the same concept in the classroom. Like, how do I have a teacher that doesn't know entrepreneurship, but she's teaching me how to run a business, and she's never ran a business a day in her life? So that structure has to change. Like, that whole statement and ideology behind that comment has to change, you know?
So after, look how Joan has more questions to answer. So now as we're getting into see and know and do, did you believe in your mind, you recognize that your mother was dating after she finished with your father?
About this time, we were adults. I didn't want to know any of my mom's business. I think I was in college by the time like a lot of those things were happening.
But did you know?
No, but I think
because she believed that you didn't know.
No, I didn't. But I think, you know, my mom and I don't have like a lot of personal, intimate conversations that she did with, you know, my sister that passed away. I think my mom told my sister more things than she told me for whatever reason, and that's fine. And so, you know, I've had to kind of just accept that for what it was, right? Like my mom, you know, being home these past 3 months because of quarantine and not in my apartment in New York, I think my mom just assumed a lot of things. Like I wasn't interested in certain things. I wasn't this, that, and the third because she didn't see it. But everyone that knew me knew that I was from Trinidad and Tobago, knew that I rep this, knew that I rep that. But my mom felt like because she didn't see it, you know, and so I think vice versa, I didn't know because she didn't tell me. And I'm also very, I kind of just stayed to myself.
You're an independent person.
I mean, it was very much like I would stay in my room, mind my business, leave me alone, unless you need me to do something. Like, and not even just my mom leaving me alone, but my siblings. Like, I want to be in my room. I spend a lot of my time in my room. And so if she was dating, she deserved to be happy. You know, I understand why she moved on from my father at the time. But I think sometimes as women, when we're married and get divorced, I think, yes, we put children first, but there has to be a balance between your own happiness. Like the one thing you just don't want to teach your children is to deprioritize your happiness over a relationship.
Wow. So are we in college here or are we in university?
I'm beyond both. I have 2 degrees.
Oh,
yeah.
Amen to
So
that.
if anybody wants to contribute to my college loan fund, I am taking all the things. I owe 6 figures. To be honest, Mama Coco, we are owed reparations, so that should be wiped clean. But that's a whole nother story.
Yes, going to college and these loans and
No,
Sally Mae
ridiculous.
name should be Sally Pay.
Well, you know, they changed her name because she got a bad rap. So that name got changed to another company name. Still the same company, but yeah, I know it's
the other name?
not alone, but I just know my parents, you know, huh?
No, I said Sally Mae and Pell Grant.
Yeah, no, I just, you know, I wish, and you know, and it's not my parents' fault. Like they didn't really know, right? Like I wish I pursued more scholarship applications, grant applications, because I was doing those things on my own because I was, you know, my parents being immigrants, they didn't really know the system of how to fill all that stuff out. And so by the time I brought all that to them, I only needed their signature. I asked for everything. Like I was doing all those things on my own. But yeah, I got my bachelor's of science and entrepreneurship, and then my master's of arts in integrated marketing communication. I'm done with
Beautiful. So what do you have to say? So there's a question here, Georgette. What was it like for you when your mom told you she was getting married again?
She didn't announce it. Not to me, at least. She didn't announce it. All I knew, she was dating this white man, and I was just like, oh, okay.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Who she was dating?
This white man. Listen, I'm very, like, there's no problem with white people, but I am a black woman. I identify as a black woman. I show up in this world as a black woman, and I'm going to call them white people. So she showed up with this white man. He's nice, that's fine. Like it was just kind of different because in the beginning it was just weird to have that.
Oh Lord, yes, Georgia, go there.
But this is what Mama Coco wants. But my mom, when I see black women with white men, the first thoughts that come to mind is black women are seen as strong and this and that and that. So when I saw her with this man, I was just like, mommy, are you sure this is like, is this, it didn't seem compatible, but he was fine as long as he understood what he was walking into with my mom. Cause I know my mom is an alpha woman. And so certain things that like, sometimes I'm just like, why don't you push back on her a little bit? And I just stay in my room. So this is when I come back and just stay in my room. I can't take it sometimes. I've had to sometimes, and my mom and I would laugh about it, but I would have to sometimes step in and be like, mommy, stop yelling at him. Mommy, stop da-da-da-da. Or Joe, why can't you just clean up the dish in the sink because it's empty? Like little things I catch between both of them. And but you know what it does though, Mama Coco? It really makes me think about like what I want and don't want in my future relationship. And that's the things that you think about, But as far as when she got married again, I didn't think about it. Like I think for her it was, I think I was out the house and I had been out the house for over 10, 15 years. And so I would pop in and out, and we knew my sister wasn't doing well. So like, she's not going to stay in this house by herself with some cats. So, people don't want to die. Like I understood. So, it was what it was.
So can you explain for us, what is an alpha woman so that my audience will know what you spoke about there?
Yeah.
And another question before we go further. Have you ever dated a white guy? And have you ever bring a white guy to your mom or anything?
Oh, I'll answer that question first. No, and no. I have not to say that I don't, I remember having like guys that were like white male friends and things of that nature. But as I got older, I just fell more into like my blackness and loving up on our black men and just couldn't see anything else. Like I just have no desire to procreate with a white man. I don't. Black love for me is just what I want personally for me. As far as, what was the first part of your question?
Alpha woman.
Oh yeah, so the alpha, there's alpha males, alpha females, and just being an alpha in your being is just, you are very, very aggressive in nature. You're very just first at everything, right? So if you think about an alpha male, they're the head of the household.
Dominating.
Very much so. And so alpha males usually probably tend to be attracted to more, if they identify as heterosexual, they tend to want maybe a woman that's a little bit more submissive. I think alpha females are very intimidating. And I think society has also, pitted or had the social construct of women being too independent. I just kind of disagree with that whole idea. I think when you think about people's life stories, like my mom had to do everything she had to do from the environment that she came from to take care of her children. Now, whether you have a problem with that or not, that may lie in your own insecurities around what you define as your masculinity, but that has nothing to do with a woman being super independent. Like I get frustrated and annoyed with those types of things. And when people say that, but I'm, like I said, I'm very much an alpha female, but my mom is too. And I may have subconsciously just noticed that and maybe digested it when I was younger.
So you think you developed that kind of DNA from your mom?
I know I did. Cause the one thing that I actually get annoyed by when I think about the characteristics of my mom and my dad. My mom was always a disciplinarian. And then as we got older, my mom would be like, that wasn't me that said that, it was your dad. I was just like, well, why doesn't he say anything, right? We used to get upset, he just wouldn't say anything. And so my dad is passive aggressive, and I have moments where I realize that I'm passive aggressive, that I don't like being passive aggressive. I don't speak up in all areas of my life, which may be surprising to some people the way I'm talking. But yeah, my mom, she speaks up, but I think there's a balance. Like, I think there's moments where my mom can be passive aggressive and my dad can be passive aggressive. But yeah, I definitely picked that up for sure.
So we have a question here for you, but that I want to ask you because you listen to the show, and what can you say to Princess? But we had to we had to go. You know, Princess wanted to go into the military. She wanted to go into the military, right, Princess?
I did.
Yeah, so she has a lot of stuff in her that's very fiery like you. And most of the times, a woman fire just be always taken out of context.
Yeah.
Or she this, she loud, she want to be a man and all these kind of things. But that's the way Princess used to talk, just like you. Yes, and that was Princess at the time. I don't know if she's still such. Some weeks ago she called crying and talking to me, and I think she's still like you, because I have to tell her to get off the phone, take a deep breath, drink some water, blow your nose, call back. Because right now I'm not hearing anything you're saying. I'm only hearing you with your pain, and somehow I'm not convinced that all your pain was given to you. I think some of it, I don't want to talk about what's happening. I want you to tell me what you plan to do. So I could see that you're a planner, Georgette. Mm-hmm. I could see that certain things in you have force that not even Joan, who's straightforward, could sometimes, I believe, argue the point, because you don't talk without information. And I want to thank you for that. But Joan, what was it like finding love as an older divorced West Indian woman dating outside of your race? Georgette, Joan is on the spot.
At that point of my life, I was looking for happiness. And I said, once I'm happy with the person, I'm all that. I wasn't looking at color. I was looking for happiness. I was past the childbearing age. Let's say when I'm going to have kids, I was looking for happiness. And I would say, besides little petty things, I'm very comfortable. I'm very happy.
Amen. Well, Joan, that question was for you. I don't know. Well, the part as a West Indian woman is in there. And do you think your answer is good enough so that West Indian women can...
Well, I would say I would put myself like a woman, period. I wouldn't want to say West Indian, because there are West Indian women that date outside of their race too. But I will say, as a woman, I was looking for happiness for me. I didn't care outside of the box how people want to think. Because anything I wanted, I was getting assistant. I was in school, I was getting assistant with it. I was getting all the help and all the things outside of the box. I was getting help from that man, and there was no other change more than to love him and care for him. I was very comfortable, so I didn't have any problem.
But I think, Mommy, you're also at a place where there are less things that you have to check off that you want on your list, right? Like, you had the children already, you had the husband already, you came to the States already, you got everything you needed. So I think this time around, it didn't need to be all those things. Like, I'm still on my first round. I have no children. It's me, myself, and I. So it's going to look different.
Right. So that's true too. That's true. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Mama Coco, before I go, did you want me to answer one more question? And you could always have me. I'd love to come back on so I could be
Yes. I want you to come back on.
Okay.
You saw my show and you see the one today. And you believe that you could fit in, and you believe that you have something to share to young people. Well, please say something to Princess, because you listen to her before, I think, and say something to her young mother. And she's now in school.
Okay.
She's about 3 or 4, or at least one semester away from graduating as a what, princess? But she's leaving. Her name is Georgette.
My degree is in public health. Hi, Georgette. So I'm 5 classes away from graduating with my bachelor's in public health.
Okay. Where are you based at now? Are you in the States?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm in Norfolk.
She's in Georgia.
Norfolk.
No, because I didn't catch the whole thing because we were making coconut oil and I was back and forth in the kitchen and
I am.
Okay, nice. I didn't know that. Okay. And so in a nutshell, so you basically had your daughter when you were young and now you're kind of doing things. It sounds like you're doing more for yourself because she sounds like she's older now, right?
She has 2 other kids, 2 boys.
Okay.
I have 2 other kids also.
Okay. Are you in a relationship right now?
She's living.
I'm not.
Okay. I think for you, depending on the age of your children, I think with you only having, you said 5 classes or 5 credits?
5 classes
remaining. Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and I know this may sound difficult for me to say as a woman that's not a mother yet, I think, if you are at a space to, one, be mindful of not worrying about the timeline that you think you need to be on to finish these 5 classes. I think a lot of times people have this warped idea like, well, why aren't you done yet? Well, are you paying for my school? Are you taking care of my school? What are you doing? Like, why are you telling me to rush with these things? Take your time, princess. Take your time, and you finish when it feels right, and don't stop. Don't stop. It's a, as they always say, it's a journey, it's a marathon, not a race. And so I think, with you being in Norfolk, I think because Norfolk was definitely inexpensive when I was down there, but I think prioritize your happiness with you taking care of your children and doing whatever you need to do for yourself. I think everything else will come together. But once you feel like you have a strong foothold where you are in your life, I think everything else will feel like a less of a burden. One word I'll give to you that I've been saying in my prayers that one of my girlfriends told me, she was like, unburden yourself. So whatever emotional trauma that you're holding on to and all those things, because I'm working on things for myself as well, unburden yourself. It gets better. It gets better no matter what the situation looks like, what it seems like. It gets better. I know I'm in my 30s and people are like, my mom was like, you don't have no children yet? I'm like, mommy, with what man? I'm not having a child. With what man am I? No, just because I'm 35 doesn't mean I have to, but there's people that think like that. And I think for you're I think you're in a beautiful situation where, yes, there may have been storms that you had to weather with the 3 children and you going to school. But the fact that you're still breathing, the fact that you're still alive during
she's walking.
You're working within a pandemic within a pandemic, right? Because Black people are the most affected by everything going on. If you have a roof over your head and the basic needs, you are on track. You're on track. You are on track. And if I could be a resource, please let me know.
So, Georgette, would you think about freezing some eggs now, baby? To make
I'm not paying
later?
I ain't paying for that. I ain't paying for that. But you know what I would say? I'll say, prayer for cooking. I think this will be good. I know people are like, women get older, their eggs, but there's been women that have popped babies out close to 50. And so I'm not saying that I'm waiting till 50. What I'm saying is I am praying and receiving that my body will be in order and healthy at whatever age.
The babies, Georgia, we have to remember the complications of having a child that will become a special need. And think about it some more. Joan can pay for your freezing. She can help you. Joan, you want to help your daughter?
No, Mama Coco, listen, I'm aware. I want to do the natural water birth and everything. Like, I'm not a traditionalist in certain things. Like, I'm not falling into all these social constructs of what society thinks I should be doing at 35.
Dr. Duke, that's a specialty. So be careful how you're going there today.
No, because I know, anywho, that could be a long story, but nonetheless,
And I work with my daughter, so be careful. I mean, I'm part of the administration, so you have to be careful how you answer that
only
question.
Speak my truth, Mama Coco. That's what you want me to do, right? Speak my truth.
Georgette, I love you. And I love, no, serious. But you know, sometimes we just have to be less militant in how we approach things, because you know what? We are speaking to a mixed audience all over the world.
Yeah.
And I love you, and I know your message was well received.
Yeah. And listen, I understand, and I will put this caveat: my views on a lot of things are not going to be
everybody's. Yes.
And I think, but that's the thing. I think that's the beauty in it. The one thing I don't do, Mama Coco, that I'm very mindful of is if you talk to me, I don't project my views onto you. But if you ask me, I will share it with you, and then you can decide if that works and ebbs and flows in your world.
That's me too. Thank you.
That's the difference. I think a lot of people go ham on like, no, I can't believe you don't want to have a baby in the hospital. It's like, well, Black women are always dying. You know, oh, come on, children don't make you a woman. Black women are dying more at higher rates in these hospitals because they think Black women are strong and they don't give us the same amount of care. And I'm not saying that it's not possible. What I'm saying is I've always personally wanted to have a natural birth and get back to what we were doing back home and how it used to look, because this one girl I interviewed, she breathed her son out in water, and she didn't push, she didn't do anything, she didn't tear, she didn't do anything. So I know it's possible, Mama Coco, but that's Georgette's view, not everyone else.
Would you like to become a mother?
Oh yeah, I do want to have children. I just don't have no man yet for that to happen, and that's you know, I was dating somebody, but like, you know, that was I don't know what happened with that, but anyway.
Because Georgette, you know, Black women babies die in the water too.
No, I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying.
So we have to promote things in the way.
Yeah.
That, you know what I'm saying, Georgette? It was a breath of fresh air.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Thank you.
Do you think, Georgette?
Yeah.
Have you ever talked to your mother about sex and dating, Georgette?
Well, then this is where I log off, because we don't talk about that.
Oh boy!
I mean,
don't log off.
No,
you have an answer to give about Princess.
Yes.
Now you listen to Princess, and you heard everything about Princess. Do you think she should get at least 3 sessions of therapy?
Oh yeah, if you haven't done therapy, I would recommend it. I think the stigma, we have to erase the stigma. And I think a lot of it, you know, and again, we're not blaming the older generation where our parents came from. I think the thing is they've made us believe that we don't need to talk to anybody to resolve our issues. God will take care of it, this, that, and the third. And it's not to say that you can't believe in a higher power. Here's the issue. And a lot of this stuff is rooted in the system of white supremacy. The fact that we've had to deal with generational trauma that has stemmed all the way to slavery. And if something happened to somebody at such a young age and they don't get the care and they're not able to express their emotions, what do you think is going to happen when they become an adult? And the same thing is still happening. You don't move on from trauma like that. It wasn't resolved in a healthy manner. And so if you haven't done therapy, I recommend it. Having conversations, journaling, but talking to someone that is licensed and that can offer you insight, not medicine, but insight, talk you through things and give you methods for you to really work through whatever emotional trauma, physical trauma that you dealt with. Like, you don't have to necessarily repeat it to re-traumatize yourself, but there are people that are licensed that can actually, you know, get you to the root of a lot of these things, which sometimes stems from our childhood. Like, I can connect the dots to things now. I'm like, well, why do I let people talk to me like that? Oh, I know where it came from.
Connect this one before you go.
Okay.
Did Joan recognize that you rather be by yourself than to be with your other siblings and to conversate with her? Do you think she did that? And at what state in your life? Was it after their divorce or just before she divorced your father?
No, I think we all took on our own personalities. I mean, I was the youngest, you know, like my other 2 siblings, because they were born overseas, that was a different energy for them to come over to the States and acclimate versus my sister and I that were born in DC. And then we had a 2-parent household. So there was other things as I got older that I recognized that were going to always be different. And then even though there weren't full conversations with my mom about it, I know she had those conversations with my other sister that passed away, but just understand.
Why did you think she had it with...
I literally wasn't around.
Okay.
Like physically wasn't around. I went to school back to back. So after I graduated, I went to college. From college, I went to Richmond for work. From Richmond, I literally came home maybe for a couple of weeks, and then I went right up to Boston. So I just didn't want to be home like that. Like, it wasn't because like, oh man, home, but it was just like independence, freedom. I want to go.
Have you ever thought of going into the military?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I did actually, Air Force, a while ago when I was dating this guy. And then when the test...
Why you have to go so quick? The real part of your life we're now getting into, you date a guy. What happened with that guy?
Oh, this was college. That was college. Yeah.
It's still Georgette.
But this could be a part. We could do a part 2.
Yes, thank you.
We'll do a part 2.
You want the part 2 with Joan? That will be Joan part 3.
Oh, that's fine. I just need a heads up so I can put it on my calendar and make sure I block off that time. But just to
Joan, hold on 1 minute. Joan, would you like to come back with Georgette? Or she too hot for you to handle?
Yeah, we can come back. No, we can come back.
She too hot to handle.
It will be an experience because
because my mom doesn't hear me.
Hold on. Georgette, she's talking.
We can tell the difference.
Go ahead, Joan.
We can tell the difference because she was out of the house more. Because she was out of the house more than her other sister, we can relay, the differences. So she can
oh God, my phone got lose charge. Shucks.
Uh-oh.
That will be so silly to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, give me 1 minute. Georgette, you could still answer Joan. Joan, keep talking. Georgette, keep talking.
Yeah, so what I'll say real quick before I get out of here is as far as the military is concerned.
Okay.
Oh, she's gone. Oh, but it's still live. Oh, okay.
No, she said you can keep talking.
Okay, but as far as the military is concerned, it's funny as I'm wearing a military hat because my hair's not done. The guy I dated in college, he's in the Army, and so he had given me this hat. But I took the test for the Air Force, and I don't know if people do this, but I pray about things going into it. That's over people that I'm interested in, over things that I want to do. I even had to pray about when I wanted to go back to New York. And so when I took the test for the military, it just didn't sit right with me. And, I just didn't do it. And then I got led into doing other things. The one thing I would say, for instance, about the military, the only reason why I'm a little hesitant, and I'll just, just so you're aware, the military, we appreciate the people that are part of the military. The one thing I'd be mindful of is just the way women are treated in the military. There's, the fact that women are sexually assaulted at higher percentages in the military. And then this young woman, Vanessa Gillen, was all of a sudden her remains were found and she was sexually assaulted, and somebody that got approached by it was committed suicide. And so it's just, I just don't like that women's voices are suppressed in a lot of male dominated spaces. And in the military, I'm not even going to sound radical or make that comment, but just be mindful of why you're going to the military. And if you were interested in going to the military, you have to really ask that question, because once you're in, you have to spend you're just not getting out of that contract just because you want to get out that contract. There's a minimum time you have to spend. And then what about the time away from the children, right? And all these other things, like they toot all these benefits, but I think there's other ways for you to get those benefits without having to be part of the military. So that's what I would say. Mama Coco, I have to go, but where are you? Where'd she go?
She's trying to get her phone hooked up.
Okay.
I went phone hooked up.
Okay. Mama Coco, I have to go. Please let me know. Cindy can hit me up on when you all want me to come back on. And we could do this again. This is lovely. I like this platform. This is nice. I've never heard of this. StreamYard. Okay.
Nice. Big up Cindy.
I know. Yeah, it looks like CNN with the name going across at the bottom. Like, this this. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay.
Just remember when you come to LA.
Yes. No. We got a month. Hopefully the cases come down. But tell Winston I want to sleep in one of those guest bedrooms, though.
That's right.
Tell him I need a place to stay.
So before you leave, tell us about the experience that your mom is teaching you. One of your generation style of
coconut oil,
of making the coconut oil.
Oh yeah, I mean, the one thing and I don't know if my mom realized this, like all of us learn differently, but I have to learn by putting my hands on it. If you're not walking me through that process, looking at you do something is not helpful for me. I just never learned that way. And so she finally let me put hands on it. And to be honest, the process is not difficult. It's rigorous though. It's rigorous. Yeah. I mean, I'll bring the bowl of coconuts to cut in my room, sit on the floor watching TV, because I know it's going to take me over an hour to do it. So yeah, I think, the one thing that my mom has always been big on when she got this house was growing her own vegetables. Like that's been her zen, having her garden. But yeah, I mean, with everything going on with this pandemic, it's helpful to have a mom that actually grows these things. I've been pushing her coconut oil since I've been home. I don't know, I'm gonna try to help her when I'm back in New York, but I've been pushing it a lot more, because I think it deserves, like, I don't like her giving it away for free because I know the process that goes into it.
It's very hard.
Yeah, I'm like, you won't have to pay for that. No. How much? I mean, no, that's a minimum of $10. I don't care how small the bottle is.
She will send me oils, and if I try to give you some money, no.
I know, like, she sends you you and Cindy and Winston a care package, and that's like a family thing on the side. So we know that you take care of that. But people
give us something.
Yeah, it's family thing.
Yeah, but like people, like they get charged full price.
They should get charged full price.
Full price plus shipping. You got to pay for all of that. So anywho.
Okay.
Have a good one. Yeah, hit me up later. Okay.
Say goodbye to the audience.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Oh, we had a mouth that air full of throat full.
What a mouthful there.
Love her to pieces. And
this is what I have to deal with.
You can't be there. They're talking about the thing down there, and you had a little rudeness. No, with Georgette, you had to call it by the name.
Yes, absolutely.
So, Princess, what you thought of Georgette? Princess, what you thought?
She's very outspoken, and I love that about her.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Right now, I'm hearing you.
I'm not hearing Princess.
Oh,
I'm not hearing her.
She's amazing. She's outspoken, and I love that. Kind of reminds me of myself.
But to go out and think they could do that?
For me?
No, maybe Joan, you're hearing now?
Joan.
I'm not hearing her.
And I can't hear her either.
Well, who went off last?
Yeah, I'm not hearing.
Can you go off, Princess, and come back?
Yes.
Robert Wendell is saying he liked Georgette. Georgette, tell it like it is. And Marie, I just say I admire Princess. Stay positive, all the best blessings. And Marie,
never give up.
Can't give up. Robert Wendell said, all right, Robert, don't be fooled. Princess seems lamb-like. Why you think she on the show? Princess, somebody said, oh, you look like a lamb. Is that so?
No.
Okay, I can hear her now.
My cousin Princess Story is a book. Princess Story is a book. Going to all them high schools and all them schools. And so, Princess, what was it like when you just started junior high and your mom sent you back?
That was when I started high school.
That was high school.
Yeah.
What was it like?
I would say it was traumatizing because I was ripped away from what I grew accustomed to, that I knew. and then having to start all over again in like a different space. Like I'm from Tobago, yes, but I don't know anything about Tobago past 8 years old. So going into school, I was 15.
How old?
15.
So when you went back, you went to Scarborough Sec. So leaving America and go back to Scarborough Sec. Tell us about transition from America again after going through so many schools here in America. I really don't want to lead you because, as I said, I know the story. But I wish you could say it in your... I think I'm talking too loud. Yes.
Going back, it was...
You want in TNT education since you were 8 years of age. To be sent back now at age 15, what was it like for you? Can I get questions coming up next? I don't want to be making up.
It was a struggle. It was a struggle because I went from one level of education to another. And honestly, the level of education there makes some children in the United States look dumb. Because on that level, they're doing like pre-college courses when we're not even on that level here in the US, in basically middle school or high school. So the work that they're doing is like university level education.
What was it like for you assimilating back into this society there in Scarborough Sec, meeting new young girls?
It was hard. Excuse me for a second.
You know, Toya have a boys and maybe they're getting wary of being by themselves, and so and I will let her know that. Princess, you don't have to be always leaving to go scold them or hit them also. You can bring them on the screen a little bit too, you know? Just bring your prize. That's what you won on the game of life. Yeah, don't treat them as they're just children to be pushed around and tell them to shut up. When the time comes that you want them to talk, they won't talk because they're going to feel well. You know, so we have to leave space for the growth. Kids are kids.
Right.
That's why I told you cannot move and go by any cousin and live. With these kids that already set in their ways, that already have their own space to play in, you can't go anywhere again by anybody. You move as a young girl into too many homes. You pick up all kind of vibrations, all kind of spirits. You live there with them, and if you have to move from there with them, you have to take care of your children. Hello?
Understood.
My God is over. Father, into your presence I bring this show. And I ask you to continue to guide, guard, and protect us. Princess, tell us about your mother.
Ooh, she's okay. She's cool. She's my mom. I'm grateful for everything that she did, but I feel like she wasn't ready for a lot of things. Being a grandparent was one of them. So I mean, she's adapted to a lot, but I don't know how to explain what I want to say without hurting feelings. But she's my mom, Joanne, Jojo.
How old was she when
I can't say. Repeat that, I'm sorry.
How old was your mom when she had you?
When she had me, 19, 20.
So can you say that she was a young mom also?
She was.
Being sheltered by living home in her mother and father's house? And
yes.
What she showed you in America is because she didn't know better, because she wasn't around home a lot neither with you. She was working with
Correct.
in her father's business.
Yes.
Speak about your mom. Put some fire in your speech. As a woman yourself and as a young mother yourself, speak about your mom leaving Tobago after she been through what she did with your father. You know what went on. Don't pretend. You know what happened. And she bring you away. She could have left you there in Tobago, but she took you. And she did what she did in America, what she accustomed to in Trinidad. Someone taking care of you.
Taking care of me.
Speak about your mom. She's a young mom, and you're a young mom.
I think she tried her best. She's still trying, because I have a little sister also. So she's still trying to do what she can to make things better for everybody. She has grandkids now. She's still trying. Right now, she herself is pursuing her degree. She's now back in school after how many years of not being in school. She's trying to better herself, better her life. She came here, she did a lot. What she did might have taken a little bit longer than she expected, but she's getting there.
So, Princess, we're still on your mother. You said that she could have done more, but did you appreciate what she was? Talk to me. Did you appreciate what she was doing for you?
I did, although it may have seemed like I didn't by my actions, but I did appreciate it. She brought me here.
Toya,
she gave me a green card.
Yes, no, stop that. Princess, you just incriminated yourself. You said...
Did I?
Yes. You said...
My actions.
I'm talking about your action. Let's leave what... Did you appreciate it because you were rebellious? Because you were blaming her? Or because you didn't know better? Talk to me.
I was rebellious, and I did not know better. I rebelled for... I was rebellious. There was a lot of things that